One. Hello, everyone. Welcome
Hello.
back. Welcome back to Sunday Shift. We're so happy to have you with us. Make sure that you like, share, subscribe. Keep it popping in the comments. Every time y'all leave comments, I get my whole life. I was just telling Tanya I was like injured last week. I won't get into it, but I didn't get a chance to like reply to the comments until like the middle of the week when I felt well enough to do it. But please leave the comments, keep them popping. We love it. How
Oh
you doing,
yeah.
Tanya?
Busy, busy, busy. Stress,
Hmm.
stress, stress. But being able to come and talk about GH is everything. So I'm
Hmm.
happy to be back. Um, yeah. That's all I got to say. I'm
I
doing
got you.
well. I'm in good spirits.
Hmm.
Yay.
You're
I need to
shining.
I need to clean my so I'm
I don't
hopefully gonna
even want to
spend
talk about what it looks like in this room. You could
uh
probably even see the outline of I I have a it's like a thing where you hold like you hang your clothes. It
okay.
just has clothes up here that I haven't hung yet because I just finished laundry. So this is like the mess behind me that you can still see in the blur. I can't even talk about it.
Um, I went to bed late last night folding clothes that weren't dirty but just weren't hung up or put
Hmm.
away.
Yeah, that's what this is. Just stuff that
Yeah.
yeah, this is where we at with it. No, after we record, that's my plan. I'm gonna put on some
Mhm.
Beyonce, obviously. Um,
Right.
that you came in, I was listening to Beyonce,
Yes, you were.
but I'm gonna put on some Beyonce and I'm gonna hang up these clothes, and like do some like dusting and some like
Uh-huh.
other just like some spring cleaning.
But I was
Just
just
some
like,
spring cleaning up in here.
I would like to say that Beyonce is out there. I was on my way to work one day in the in a Lyft. The car next to me was a truck and it was a mom, but she was
Hmm.
like, listen to Beyonce.
Just
Something about
bucket.
the text, just,
Oh,
And I was like, okay. Loud too, like if I can hear it from the next car, kind of loud, knowing
exactly.
and recognizing what song it was, loud. I was like, all right now.
I That's part of my favorite thing about Oakland is like how loud people play their music. Sometimes it
They
stops
they
where
don't
you
even
just like
care.
hear it. I'm like, okay, well, I guess we vibing. Like
Right?
everybody
We're
right here,
all gonna be vibing to this song.
whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
Um, whew, it's loud outside, y'all. We're so sorry. The sounds of Oakland are just really. Speaking of,
Well, it's 420 weekend. There's that.
it
And it
is.
was Earth Day.
Mm-hmm.
There's that.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot happening this weekend.
Yeah,
And it's time Oakland is coming outside for the summer, even
I
though
am
it's
not
April.
outside. I'm inside, but people are outside.
People are outside. Our rainy season is pretty much almost over. It's
Mm-hmm.
just every once in a while maybe. It's not going to be all week or anything. Most likely the weekend's going to be sunny and warm. And so folks are outside now. So,
Yeah. I'm thinking about putting like a little thing because we have a nice backyard, but I'm thinking about putting something on like the front porch because I
hmm
miss that. When I first moved in this house, I used to just sit on the front porch and wave at people. And at first they were like,
ah,
"That's weird," because my family's very country. So like that's
yeah,
one of my favorite things about the South is like sitting on the porch and
porch
waving at everybody honking.
and watching people.
If anybody is from the South or family is in the South and you go down there, please let me know if you can relate. That is like absolutely my favorite part. Growing up, I would go to Arkansas, it's like Arkansas, Louisiana every summer.
hmm
And that was my favorite part. Just like everybody knew each other. And even I'd be like, who was that? They'd be like, I don't know, but you just wave. And I feel
Well,
like life would be better if we just waved.
well, a little twist on that story. My mom used to send me and my brother to my grandmother's over the
Hmm.
summer, and we would be on the porch because she would be watching her stories.
As you do.
So we would be sitting on the porch watching everybody go by because she's watching her stories. Till
Hmm.
I was old enough to be able to watch with her, but yeah.
I was watching Days of Our Lives in the womb.
Oh no, my grandparents were like, she's too young for this. And then once I was old enough, then I was able to watch. And then we were just on the porch
Hmm.
between the hours of 11 and 3.
There you go. Well, let's get into this week. Um, so we're also going to talk about Emmys and our kind of hot takes and the lack
Okay.
of nominations. Yikes. Um,
Ooh.
but tell me, Tanya, who was your performer of the week?
um, Per usual, I could not decide. Not per usual, but per a lot
No, it's
for
all
me.
good. There were some good
So
performances this week.
yeah, I mean, I think it was maybe it was Wednesday or Thursday because something was going on with the episodes this week.
Yeah,
Anyway, yeah, because my DVR did not record correctly or something. But anyway, it was either Wednesday or Thursday. And there's a lot of little scenes with between one person and the next and some really deep conversations in those scenes. And so there was actual multiple people who or multiple pairings that I wanted to recognize. So first off, Maxie and her mama. That scene where Maxie was talking about her week and also her relationship with Spinelli. Kirsten Storms was at turns very funny, but also very vulnerable. And so I really loved that. So that was a performance that I noted. And again, she's, rocking all of her scenes now that we have new writers that are recognizing, the formidable actress that she is and not taking her for granted. So
that's right.
love that for her. Another scene between Jeannie Francis and Jeff Kober. Um, I can't, and we'll talk about this more, but I just can't decide whether to believe him or to just be like, man, you're crazy. Jeff Colbert is amazing. There's apparently a new direction that the writers are going to take with him, but it's still so new, the direction, that I'm still not quite sure if he's being 100% honest. But it seems like he's turning in that direction and he was still so compelling. And
Hmm.
that's what I admire so much about him and his scenes. He definitely draws me in even though I don't know whether or not he's evil. So so I'm just like, okay,
Right, right, right.
love that for you.
Hmm.
Another scene, Joss confronting Anna.
Hmm.
Oh my God. I
Eden did her
mean,
big one.
Eden did a big time, but also Finola was reacting to her. I mean, it
Ooh,
was
so
like
good.
so emotional. Yeah, Eden and Finola, that was amazing. And then
Hmm.
finally, we all have our thoughts about Sonny as a character, but Maurice Bernard really
He's been
kicks
showing
it up.
up.
He's been showing up, as particularly in this storyline, and whenever he does storylines where he's dealing with his bipolar diagnosis, it's oh my God, it's so good, and so I have to give shout out to him,
Hmm.
and so all of these people really were great. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, for me,
Yeah, they bought it. I mean, and you'll know from this episode as we talk, like that there are
right?
some questions that we have about the storyline. My questions are never about the actors. I
Yeah.
agree with you. I mean, Kirsten Storms have stand her forever. Love her.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right. They know what to do with her now. She's able, like, it's like let Maxie be Maxie. She
Yeah.
looks good. She is
Mm.
like showing up. Like I am just really as a fan of her.
And the physicality
Pleased.
too, just
Yes.
plopping down on the floor, being all over the place. I mean, yeah, she's
Yeah.
amazing, and I'm
Yeah.
hoping that they continue to really show her and her potential, and not
Yeah.
keep her on the back burner.
Right. Just right for her.
Yeah.
She is always gonna show up and she's always gonna do it like she needs to do it. I loved her. I loved, something I really loved this week was Tabiana Ali
Mm-hmm.
and letting Trina be Trina.
Oh
Like
yeah.
I when she was yelling at Jocelyn Dex, loved
Mm-hmm.
it. And
Mm-hmm.
like she really took her moment. And I wish that in the way that we were able to see Trina, we would have seen more of that. Like that she's
Yeah.
doing stuff, she's out and doing something, and she has a moment of grief and then pops back, because I do think there's something of like, I don't want to just see her sad all the
Mm,
time. I want
right.
to see her like with her friends and laughing and joking, and then having that moment of like, because that's how grief works, right?
Mm-hmm.
That like it's not all consuming every hour of the day all the time, but it is all consuming every day of the day all the time, you know what I'm saying? And so I really love that. I love the scene with her and Ava, her
Oh
Bora,
yeah.
where she was like drinking her little drink, like spilling the tea. It
Right.
was just like you could see Tabiana, her personality shine through Trina, and I do hope that that's the direction. I know that I've read stuff from Tabiana talking about Trina, and like I've heard her talk about Trina, like I don't know what that girl be doing sometimes. You know what I'm saying? And so like
Yeah.
she's had to play against some of her natural instincts, and so this felt like this week her leaning into her natural instincts.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to just see her kind of being someone who was pushing Joss and Dex. I think that was an appropriate scene and I liked it. But I
Right.
do hope that we are seeing, this is like the beginning of us seeing more of her um, come into her own character.
And I hope that turns into her reflecting on where's my dad at?
Right. Where my daddy at? I haven't seen him.
I haven't seen him for months. You
Yeah.
know, so
Right. Exactly. And then like you said, I mean, Eden and Finola, first of all,
mm-hmm.
as you know, you can't tell me nothing about Finola Hughes.
Right.
Like queen, legend, she is it.
Mm-hmm.
We know, and it's hard because, like, like a little bit of the personal lives that people share. So
Mm-hmm.
we know that Finola is also like teaching students, and so she really does love bringing young actors into their own and supporting them.
Mm-hmm.
And you could just see that shine through that scene with Finola and Eden, like the balance between them, her
Mm-hmm.
reaction. She
Mm-hmm.
didn't overpower the scene. She let Eden shine, and Eden took the
Mm-hmm.
ball and like
Ran with
dunked it.
it.
You know what I mean? Like it was just really beautiful work. And I know that, we went to the Vanna Live. We've heard Fanola talk a bunch about wanting to work more with the younger cast. And
Mm-hmm.
so seeing her scenes with Eden, even seeing the stuff that she's been able to do with Evan as Dex, it really does show like not only why she wants to, but why she should be working with this cast, because
Mm-hmm.
she's pulling performances out of people that are, I mean, Eden is great. And Finola pulled like an amazing, phenomenal performance out of her,
Mm-hmm.
despite what I felt about what she was saying.
She also did that for New Molly. New Molly.
Yeah, yeah,
That scene was amazing too.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Again, despite how I feel about some of the storylines, I can't help but give these actors their tens. And finally, Mo, like you talked about, Maurice Bernard, we know with State of Mind, he talks a lot about like what it's been, how hard it's been for him having this breakdown or like playing breakdowns with his character. And so I was really nervous about what that would do for him as a person. You know what I mean? Because we hear him talk about it. Um, but I feel like the way they're writing this breakdown is so nuanced. Because a lot of times when we see Sonny, it's just anger. There's not a lot of vulnerability. There's not a lot of almost innocence in it, right? And that's what we're saying. He like really feels betrayed. And so that paranoia is coming out as a part of him not being on his meds. So it's like there are real things happening that he should be upset about. Dex becoming a cop is a real thing that he should be upset about.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Nobody would let that go. Like
right.
it doesn't matter. You know?
Charlie and like Michael and Joss kind of just like saying, Jason, cool, you was gone. That's good. I don't care. I'm happy you're back, is actually an anomaly. Like people being
Mm-hmm.
mad that you didn't reach out is
Mm-hmm.
actually like I like them playing all of those sides, because a lot of
Mm-hmm.
times under Chris and Dan specifically, it was not, you could only feel one way. Like
Right.
they were not telling full and complete stories. And so we're seeing now them telling these full and complete stories, and I really appreciate that.
Oh
And
yeah.
so, yeah, with Mo, we're seeing that breakdown in a whole new way. And so I do hope that he's taking care of himself. I hope that he is being taken care of,
Hmm.
because the work he's doing, he's really, really showing up in a big way.
And I think some of the stuff that he's doing now might actually help with that. Like, I'm pretty sure before he did not have MB state of mind. He did not
Mm,
have the ability to talk it out and talk it out with his peers, and being able to be open with his fans about his struggles
right.
as well as what he's dealing with at work. I think that might be in a way helpful, in a way that's different than what he's had to do in the past. So I'm hoping as well that there are ways that he can deal with playing that part, and how it's affecting him emotionally, and and maybe it's strengthening, the performance as well. So
Yeah. I mean, no performance is
yeah,
obviously worth anyone's like mental health. Um,
exactly.
and I think that he is just really showing up in a way that we have not seen him in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really interesting to watch. I have not been able to take my eyes off of him and his performances, and the kind of subtle, nuanced ways that he's like operating with each person he's with. When he's with
Mm-hmm.
Brick, he's one way. When he's with Ava, he's one another way. When he's with Carly, he's another way.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's years and years of experience. That's thought process. That's like actual investment in the craft. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that he just hasn't had any material that he needed to do that for since really um, the Alzheimer's stuff with Mike.
Right.
So yeah, um, here we go. So that was our positive section because I don't have a lot of positive things to say about this show. But I do. We got Sonny versus Jason.
Finally, the showdown. Which wasn't really all that much of a showdown, in the sense that I feel like Jason kind of just took it. But then
Well, that
at
was
that
like
point,
towards the end of the
end of the
week,
week,
last
yeah.
week.
And then
This week,
again,
oh,
he didn't actually know everything, right? He was just reacting to probably what he expect the way, well, not what he expected, but he was reacting to Sonny reacting to him being alive. Jason
hmm
did not have the backstory of all the things that have been happening and why Sonny is upset. But what was key was that he is thinking that there's something wrong because he asked the question, "Are you on your meds?"
right.
So, um, yeah.
Seeing that continuation and seeing Jason absorb all of the information that everybody's giving him about Sunny, I
Mm-hmm.
think has been really interesting to see. We're also seeing like I was like, so some of the Sunny versus Jason stuff was actually like Carly talking to Jason. I was surprised at some of the stuff she left out.
Right.
She was kind of like she explained to him, and I think that's okay, right? Because sometimes we don't want all that exhibition, but I do think it's important that Jason knows about the court stuff, like the
Oh yeah, and what he did with
visitation stuff,
Michael. Yeah.
like right, the visitation stuff, the stuff where they found out about
Mm-hmm.
him and Nina, like she kind of left out. She was just like, yeah, he said he loved her. I needed a break. He cheated. She didn't even explain, like, oh yeah, Dante was hurt again on the job, and I went to
Mm-hmm.
go check on him, and then
Right.
was late, right? Like it wasn't like
Yeah.
I just was like
Well,
late to be
wait.
late.
Right.
You know, that was all like that's all like really important context. So I was like surprised that that was left out, but I do wonder how much Jason is thinking this is weird, Sunny is different, because there is the like Sunny has been different for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So Jason is noticing the difference in the meds in a way that nobody else is, because Sunny has been like slow rolling, being
Mm-hmm.
different to everybody
Else.
for a long
Yeah.
time.
Exactly.
It's also interesting that Lois hasn't noticed that Sunny was different.
No, I think she noticed. I feel like she noticed there was a difference, but she's not noticing why. I think she's like, when she walked into the room, she was like, "Oh, there's something going on. Why don't you tell me what it is?" Like, she
Yeah,
knows something is going on, but she assumes it's because of what's going on in his world, not because of the medication. I think everyone is assuming that. And I think that's why people are not paying attention, because there's so much going on in Sunny's life. that
Mm-hmm.
there should be some kind of reaction, but they're
Mm-hmm.
not taking the fact that he's reacting less calmly than he should be. Like
Right.
everyone's just taking the fact that he beat Cyrus to a pulp as that's something that Sonny does, not something that Sonny what that's something that Sonny would used to do
Right.
before the meds, before the diagnosis. They're not recognizing that.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. None of them
Mm-hmm.
are. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I loved Carly telling Jason about Jagger, but I'm also like, whoo, what's about to happen when Carly finds out that Jagger was like the person who's using Jason?
And using her to use Jason.
Right. That's about to be nasty.
It is.
That's
And
gonna
I
be
was a
really
little
nasty.
yeah, I was a little confused by their interaction because he was like, "Yeah, I blame you. I think you did it." And I would have been like,
I was like, is this I didn't even catch that that was flirting.
"Right, I didn't catch it was flirting at all until they actually exchanged numbers." And then I was just like, "Okay."
I'm not into it. um I also we get like the Jarly friend zone basically. So Jay like Carly said like I wish that I had never fallen in love with Sonny and it could have been you, and he was just like I'm happy with how we are. I don't know if that means that they are permanently friend zoned or if that means that they are going to um and try to figure out how to move them towards romance slower, because like listening to their interviews and stuff on like different podcasts, Laura and Steve have reflected that the reason that Charlie was unpopular is that it happened too quickly. It wasn't organic, it felt really rushed, and everybody was forced to be bought into it. And if it would have been told in like a slower way, a more organic way, then people would have bought into it. I don't think that's true. I don't know. Whatever. I can't say what everybody would like. I'm never gonna like Charlie. It just feels incestuous to me. Um, because I came on the show understanding they had like a very deep friendship. I started watching when Carly was in the panic room. That was the summer I started watching GH. And so like Jason was like looking for her, and like, it was clear that they had like a a more than friendship, but it didn't feel romantic to me. It felt codependent, but it didn't feel romantic to me. And so if you started watching and your starting point with them was like Sarah Brown and like them banging, like, maybe that's like a different feel for you, but that's not where I started. And so it's just really difficult for me to see them in a romantic light. What about you?
Yeah, I remember with Sarah Brown, and yeah, Carly really had a thing for Jason. And Jason was kind of warming up to her, but not kind of really. He was just more into rescuing her, and you know. But I can see what they're saying. Like if it's slow, if it's almost like you can see that Sonny and Carly are truly no more. I can see fans being able to be brought along. But what was interesting to me was how people reacted to that scene, right? People were like focusing on her saying, I sometimes think about what it would have been like if I was just in love with you and not Sunny. What was more compelling to me was what she said before that. And she said that she misses Sunny. She misses the man that
Yes.
she loves. She misses that dynamic, and that was pure emotion and sorrow, right? It
Hmm.
was more like her thinking like, if this had never happened, I would still be in love with you instead of Sunny, as more of a, this is what helps me forget the pain that I miss what I had with Sunny. And
Right.
so the fact that people were more focusing on what she said to Jason was surprising to me, because what got me was her saying, I miss Sunny, and almost like I want him back type of I miss Sunny.
Mm.
And so that's what I focused on the most.
Mm.
But because
Yeah.
it was just
Huh.
like, yeah, her saying, if I had never fallen in love with Sonny, I wouldn't be dealing with this pain right now. That's how I felt it was like. Um,
Mm.
but you know, interpretations being what they are, and it
I love
seems
a I
like,
love her like a interpretation and a perspective. You better bring
yeah,
that. I love that.
yeah.
Um,
So that's how I felt, but then it also the scenes after a couple days later when he's showing and proving how much he cares for her, even if it right now it's just friendship, is showing me how I could even believe that they could get together because he had the power to convince her to take her company back by just saying, and no one else could do that. No one
hmm
else, everyone offered. Her son offered, Sonny offered, everybody, and she wouldn't take it back. But the mere fact that Jason was like, this would not have happened if I was here. And she's like, yeah. And I'm
Yeah.
giving this to you. She's all like, okay, I'm gonna take it. And they had this emotional hug. That shows me the power of their relationship and the strength of their relationship, and how for me it could be possible that they could get together. Um, but it would have to take a lot of me and the audience and Carly herself convincing herself that Sonny and her are truly, truly over. Um,
Yeah. I
in a
mean,
way that his fake death didn't really do that.
right, right.
Yeah.
I think, I it's so interesting to think about like audience
Mhm.
because every audience is really different, right?
Mhm.
Like, so the reflection that you would get from like a Twitter is really different than the reflection that you would get from Instagram or Facebook or
Right.
soap opera digest polls or whatever. Like, so I do wonder how they poll or gauge like what audiences quote feel
Uh huh.
about something because there are certain couples um who are like I always like to call them like internet couples, right? Or like the
Mhm.
people that you find out about because like of Twitter. So
Mhm.
I talk about watching All American all the time. Well, I had started watching All American because I saw the main couple like trending like a lot and I saw their videos and their gifts and I was like, well, let me see what's going on here. Now I ended up liking the show, but I was bought in because of that like couple that
Couple.
pairing. Um I think Sprina is one of those parents like they have a like they trend all the time and like um people see like their gifts or their videos that kind of thing and so it's easy to think like that is the most like popular or whatever. And so if you're judging by that, which some people do, you would think that like Carson, for example, wasn't popular.
Mhm.
When what I like look at just like the whole of all of the different places I kind of track where people are talking, Carson is like one of the staples that people are waiting to get back together.
Mhm.
So it's really difficult to figure out how to like get any of these characters with other people
Mhm.
because people are still waiting for Carson.
Yeah.
And so even in one of Laura Wright's interviews, she was like, "Oh yeah, I don't really see like Jason and Carly happening if Sonny is around."
Right.
Um and I think that that's reflective of what a lot of the audience thinks. Not
Mhm.
the audience on like Twitter because Twitter hates Carson or whatever.
Yeah, Twitter is like not liking Carly either. So,
Right, but like that's but
yeah.
we went I went to go see Crew live when it was it was
Mhm.
Laura Wright and Cameron and the whole room was like Laura Wright fans.
Right.
So it's like, where do you find and I only bring this up because it does feel like in some of the writing, these new writers are
Mhm.
responding to like fan critique. And I do
Mhm.
wonder where they're getting the critiques from. Like
Mhm.
what medium are they taking in that information?
Mhm.
Have you
I don't
noticed
know.
any of that?
I mean, I don't know what medium they are taking the information, but I do know that there are still some Carson fans out there. And that's why I feel like Carson, like everyone would have to believe that Carson is truly done. And I don't even think like episodes like what we're anticipating on Monday is going to be enough, right?
No.
Because Sonny has gone off on Carly in some truly damaging,
Horrific.
emotionally horrific ways, and they still manage to find themselves back together. So
Yeah.
it would have to take something really like long lasting and devastating, and just really like for us to be able, okay, so Sonny and Carly are over for real.
Mm,
Because, yeah, right now, we know, the audience knows that something is wrong with Sonny. And once all of that is hashed out, then, folks are thinking, okay, well, maybe Sonny and Carly will get back together once all this, madness of what's
right.
surrounding him will be fixed.
Or
There's
at least
probably,
their relationship is going to
or
definitely be back
definitely
different.
get
Right.
back together different. When Sonny gets back to normal, well, quote unquote, I don't know what normal is. We don't know what normal
Right.
is. But when Sonny gets back to where he was with his meds and, whatever's going on with Ava is hashed out. Oh, Ava. But anyway, that's something that we got to talk about because I'm perplexed. But
Confused. Duh.
I'm thinking there's probably some Carson fans out there that will feel that there's a possibility for them to get back together once all these other storylines are dealt with.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of these like legacy pairings have their fandoms because
Right.
it's not just Carson that you have to like overcome for like a
Right.
Jason and Carly relationship. You
Oh,
gotta
yeah.
overlook J Sam fans. You gotta overlook Jason and Liz fans, and those are really
Mm-hmm.
big fandoms. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like OG J Sam fan, and I think that even though I'm not necessarily clamoring for Jason and Sam to get back together, I don't like what they're doing with them now, but I do like Sante.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can't show me that J-Sam will be better than the last version of J-Sam, because I was not a fan of that,
Mm-hmm.
then like why mess with it?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think that for me, the only appeal of it is that Sam would maybe get more story.
Right.
But I would I want to see them write story for Sante. Like we
Mm-hmm.
have not gotten a lot of story for Sam within this pairing. And Dom and Kelly as actors have really made so little work so much for their pairing.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I said all that to say that like it's not just Carson fans that have to like be bought in or they have to win over. They have put both Jason and Carly in very popular pairings outside of each other.
Mm-hmm.
And so to try to bring them together feels really daunting. And I mean, I'm gonna still obviously watch the show, obviously, but
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be into that pairing. So,
Yeah. There's so many other directions they could take her, you know. So
mhm.
well, we there's so many possibilities regardless. So we just don't know.
We don't know, and I think it's.
Yeah.
I mean,
I like that's
it's
what it's
tough.
exciting.
It's tough and it's exciting,
Mm-hmm.
because these new writers, um, something that they're doing is like you don't really know what's coming with anything.
Mm-hmm.
Something that has been tough with me for these new writers is that they have just changed things. Um, they've just changed things without explanation, and it feels like they're just like, look, Chris and Dan did some stuff, the stuff that we didn't like and the stuff that we want to change. We're not gonna do any transition of the writing. It's just gonna be abrupt changes. So to your point about Carly and Jason and Carly taking the Metro Court back, as a Carly fan, I have wanted her back in the Metro Court, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's our baby, go get it. But I have appreciated her not taking it back from anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
I've also appreciated, since she's not been with Sonny and since Jason's been off canvas, I've appreciated the way that she goes about doing a lot of stuff on her own.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was a little frustrating to me as a fan of Carly for this week to show her like leaning back into needing Jason in this way and her
Mm-hmm.
taking the Metro Court back from Jason with nothing.
Right.
It's fine. It is what it is. Take it back. I would have loved for it to be like, you know, I'm gonna pay you back,
Oh
right? And
yeah.
like that being a thing, as opposed to just like, because like you said, everybody's tried to give it to her. It's
Mm-hmm.
not like Jason has money that nobody else has, and nobody else could have possibly bought the Metro Court for her. That's not
Right.
true. That's crazy. That's like not even, you know. It,
Right.
so as a fan of Carly, I'm kind of like, I see what you're doing, and I know that you're just trying to get there in the story, but I could have used a bridge to get
Yeah,
there.
I could have used like it she's taking it back because she wanted it back and it's on her own terms. Like I would have even liked it better if she said, "You know what? I really want Metro Court back. Can you get it back for me?" I would have been appreciated that
Anything.
because it was more like it was more because that's what she wanted and the energy she's putting towards getting it back, not just it being handed it to her. And I agree. I really liked the fact that she was trying to own up to her mistakes. And if she was going to get it back, she was going to work towards getting it back and would have been on her own terms. So yeah, I agree with you on that. But I also still feel like it was hella romantic and sweet. And so I was just like, I'm of two minds.
I get you. I
but
not the romance, but
yeah, I mean, even if it was a friendly romance, it was still like, oh my God, that's so sweet.
Jason's
So
line
yeah,
to her felt like the line from the writers to the audience, where he was like, "If I was still here, do you think this would have happened?"
nope.
And the answer is
Right.
absolutely not. She wouldn't even be
Right.
close enough to Drew to do it. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Like, so like that's just how the writers are like showing up on this. Like, well, if Jason was here, what would have happened? And we're just like going to it. So I
Right.
don't know.
That's cute. That's cute.
The deception story. So Lucy Coe
My
continues to
God,
talk about
Lucy.
herself. It was so ridiculous. But Sasha shows up in her overalls looking beautiful but
Right.
ridiculous. And takes over for for Lucy. And we also again see Maxie feeling overwhelmed. We see Lois helping save the day. I do like deception as like a launching pad. I wish that we saw more of it.
Hmm.
And that we saw a little bit more of like women at work, and we saw like um I would love to see. I mean, I've lobbed for this before, to see Trina become like one of the faces of deception, like do a campaign where a bunch of people are, and like Trina be like the main girly. Um, it would get her involved with more people, and whatever. We could also get her. This is just me fan casting into
Hmm.
the ether, but like we can get her being the face of deception, and then she has to travel back to Paris, and then she has to, anyway.
Right.
That's just my fake
And
writing.
deal with the grief, and
Right?
all of a sudden, there goes Spencer in Paris,
Like coming from the fog. Wait,
vomit from the fog.
is fog a Paris thing? That's probably London. I'm not traveled. Don't call me.
Yeah,
Don't worry about me being so basic, y'all. We'll move on.
they did make it look kind of foggy when he died, though, like it was
Right,
overcast.
right. Don't worry about me being so basic, y'all. I have no idea. But anyway, um, you didn't get a chance to reflect on Lucy last week. How was you feeling about Lucy, our girl Lucy?
Oh my God, Lucy, I mean, on one hand, I feel her in the sense that she did start deception. It was her brainchild, but I feel like she's making wrong decisions, and I'm not liking that. Not liking her feeling like she could be the one to sell the products and then going in and just talking about herself. She wasn't even talking about the product, which
Right.
was the purpose. And I was just like, that you're just being ridiculous. But then she was also being Lucy. And so I was like, okay, I see it. And so that's the funny thing is that I've always kind of had this kind of love hate annoyance about Lucy. Like sometimes I loved her with Martin. I loved
Oh,
that
I didn't like that.
relationship. I loved it. But Lucy herself sometimes can get on my last nerve. And so that's what was happening. And she totally tanked that thing. And, it was purposeful, I guess, for a reason. But to bring Sasha, I'm glad because it brought Sasha out of the horse thing and out of, vicinity with Cody. Because I'm like, I'm definitely not watching those scenes with Cody. But I love watching shine. Sasha shine
Right.
on on the show and being, effervescent and being able to sell the product and coming to the rescue. And I loved that woman apologized to her, even wasn't a real apology, but basically bowing down to Sasha
Hmm.
as a professional. I loved that. I loved her getting her power back. And
Mm-hmm.
so I liked those scenes because of that. And I love the fact that it was Brooklyn and Lois that came to the rescue, you know,
Right.
and not Scott. Scott, like, what was Scott going to do? Was he going to put on the mask and would that actually sell the mask? No. I was hoping Scott would pull her off the stage. He didn't even have the power to do that. He was just there. I was like, he didn't need to be there. So,
Oh, Scott.
yeah.
Lord. Well, our dear TJ, who I do love, but I do not love what TJ is doing.
No, I want him to
TJ
get
showed
over
up.
this.
TJ showed up to like an appointment with Gregory and was like, "Let me tell you why Christina's a bum and shouldn't be my surrogate." Like,
Dude,
what
get
is going
over it.
on?
Like, it would have been one thing if it, even though it would have been probably a horrible story, it would have been one thing if he, had animosity towards Christina because there was going to be some sort of random love affair or whatever. That's one thing. But he's just hating on her just to hate on her. And I'm just like, why? Stop it. She's giving you this ultimate gift,
This
and
gift.
this gift, and you can't even accept it and be happy for what it is right now. She's not even causing you problems. It's not like she's randomly showing up in the middle of your romantic time with Molly, or she's talking smack, or she's doing what her character supposedly is leading us to believe that she's an annoying person. She's not even doing that. She's minding her business and having your baby. And you
Hmm.
can't even be grateful.
I feel like this is an example of how the writers are doing something and I get
Right.
what they're doing, but you didn't have to do it this way. I think it's
Mm-hmm.
really similar even to look back at like Nina in the Metro Court. Nina
Right.
didn't have to be somebody who was like bungling the Metro Court. What was
Right.
unbelievable is y'all made it seem like she was good at it in the first place. But like she was
Mm-hmm.
just busy. You can say
Right.
she was busy, she was unfulfilled. Not that she was like messing up the room service. Like that's
Mm-hmm.
silly. In the same way that like TJ and Christina, it could literally be that you are noticing that Christina is getting too close to the baby.
Mm-hmm.
That should be the story. Not
Oh
that she's
yeah.
not eating right. TJ
Right.
is a doctor, so he understands more than the average man the sacrifice that Christina is making with her body to do this for him and Molly. So to
Mm-hmm.
have him be so ungrateful about like nonsense is wild.
Right.
It is wild. Also, Christina's always been that close to Sunny.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't as if like you like since Sunny has been back, we are supposed to assume that Christina and Sunny have been that close. Where was your like where was whatever you were feeling about Sunny at when he was paying for your school? And
Oh,
when you were living with him,
right.
and prior to her getting pregnant. Because the only
Mm-hmm.
time that TJ's ever really been in danger is because of his mama and Cyrus. Not
Mm-hmm.
because, not only time, but like the most recent time is because of his mama and Cyrus, not because of Sunny. So it's frustrating to me to see him in this space where he's just like acting like, let me tell everybody who will listen how Christina is like eating flaming hot Cheetos and hurting my baby.
Right.
What's going on here? Give
Flaming hot
Taj,
Cheetos.
give Taj. Taj is too cute to have to be dealing with this. Give him something better to do.
Oh yeah.
Like, please.
Please.
It's so annoying. Yeah, I would like to have rather I would have liked to ooh, I can't talk today. I would have rather him see, just like I said last week, he was we had a scene where they were talking about how him and Molly missed an appointment. That's wild. If that was the case, then like write this into the story to say Christina made an appointment without me and Molly.
Mm-hmm.
Like whatever. I'm not a fan of how they're writing TJ or this story.
I agree. And I didn't really, I watched it, but I wasn't just like, oh, this is compelling. No, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't. It was not at all.
Not at all.
Um, and it also was frustrating for me as somebody who has like loved and lost someone with ALS, like the way they're telling this Gregory story.
Mm,
Um, I don't think there has to be like this, I'm happy to have ALS kind of story. Like that's not everybody. It is like a very debilitating and sad
mm-hmm.
situation.
Mm-hmm.
And like that doesn't have to be all of who Gregory is. Like if we're gonna tell this story, let's tell the combination of like the joy and the pain and the hardship and like you know what I'm saying? Like I just like this whole like I'm locking my family out and I'm doing it like I'm not really interested in seeing that story and it I don't think is a good representation of
Mm-hmm.
of what care means. It also is not like this whole idea like, oh, he gotta make it to Chilen's wedding. That's also not how LS works. Like you could see people's like lose faculties and stuff, but like it's not like he's finna die tomorrow.
Right. When is this wedding supposed to be? And that's another thing I'm annoyed by. I need it to be over.
I think it's gonna be May. I think it's gonna be May sweeps.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Anyway,
And so if
uh,
it's on during sweeps, that means something big is gonna happen, right?
well let's talk about the Chilean wedding. So there was like a lot of planning this week. Obviously, we
Uh-huh.
had Lois kind of running around. What's going on? Um, we had Finn like reflecting with Alexis on his relationship with Gregory.
Mm-hmm.
P.S. Finn and Alexis have way more chemistry than Finn and Liz. Just putting it
Ooh.
out there. Um, we have Chillin talking about money.
Mm-hmm.
And we have Tracy and Gregory deciding that they are going to because Alexis can't go to the wedding anymore. They're
Mm-hmm.
going to be sitting together at the same table, and Gregory is happy about it.
And I'm happy too.
So tell me, how are you feeling about the Chillin wedding plans?
I mean, I'm just like wanting it to be done. I'm like, I mean, I think it's cute. I'm glad that they had the money discussion. I'm glad that's over with. Cause I'm hoping they don't bring it up every 2 years like they talked about. Like we're gonna have to talk about this every 2 years because, but I'm like, I hope not. If they're together in 2 years, you never know with soaps. Um, but you know, some of the stuff is cute, but other stuff, I don't know. I like the evolution of Tracy and Gregory because they make each other. I mean, Tracy makes him more interesting. He doesn't really pay as much attention or focus on feeling sorry for himself or needing to take it slow down when he's talking with Tracy.
Hmm.
They are just being, even though Tracy notices like, are you okay or whatever, but she's not dwelling on it so much. She kind of just brings him alive, and it's almost like this cute little romance. So I love that. But other than that, I'm over the planning. I'm over the dress. I'm over the bachelor part. Well, the bachelor party I love because you know who's planning it, Dante. But everything else, I'm done.
They
But
got my
this
man back
wedding,
at well, they got my man back at work already. From coma
yes.
to work in 1 week. What is going on?
I'm
But
glad though.
but I will say, Chillin was already a couple that had such a slow burn, and they've
Mhm.
had so much drama thrown at them at every corner. It was drama, drama, drama. So
Mhm.
for me, I actually don't mind seeing wedding planning. I actually think that that is something that we have missed in the show is
Mhm.
seeing like the build up to something that's going to be important.
Mhm.
Um, but what I am seeing is like it just doesn't need to be this much drama. Like just give us happy times. People would love to see Chillin. Well, I am people would love to see Chillin just be happy. Let's have a fun dress fitting. Let's have a fun like it doesn't
Right.
actually they've that relationship has had so much drama. As I've
Yeah.
said before, they have banked drama. It's okay to just let them be happy. It's
Mhm.
okay to just let them have some fun going
Mhm.
forward without everything being the drama is already Gregory.
Right.
Like, why do we need to have anything more besides than like happy times? I mean, like,
Mhm.
of course, like the Sunny conversation, because I'm assuming that something's gonna happen at the wedding with Sunny, so we needed that kind of, um, you know, whatever to set the stage. But other than that, like, let them just have happy planning.
Mhm.
That's kind of how I feel about it. I don't need the
I
drama of
agree.
it.
Yeah.
I
I
also don't
agree.
need the drama of the money conversation. I don't care. Like.
I
It's
really
just
don't.
I, it's like, so we gotta hear that y'all gonna live, even though Brooklyn currently lives in a mansion.
Like, are they gonna actually get a house? Or are they gonna live in Chase's apartment? Did they decide that? I don't recall because
I
I
don't know.
yeah.
I I'm like, y'all, who cares? Like, I don't care about this drama for y'all.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I just I don't care. The money thing is silly to me. Y'all
Yeah.
Brooklyn is rich. Even the idea of him selling a truck, like, why? Just
That would
like,
mean more if we saw him catching the bus somewhere, but we're not.
we didn't even know he had a truck that was important to
Right.
him.
Exactly. I didn't even know he had a truck, period.
Like, so we could have easily had you say, okay, I'll let you buy these like tickets to Italy or whatever with your money, but
Hmm.
I'm gonna plan for and pay for one of the days that we're there.
Right.
Like, let's find some ways for him to be sweet and romantic that are not about him being broke so that we can move on from this. Like, it's just I don't care. So
Like I said.
anyway, uh Jex, we see them having a lot of conversation about him because about Dex becoming a cop.
Hmm.
Um when Jocelyn was like, I have a jack of all trades I can call. I'm like, when do we ever see Dex fix a stove? That's just as implausible as Michael fixing the stove. What are we talking
Right.
about?
I think she was thinking he could cook, but he can't cook if they ain't got no stove.
What are we doing? Um Yeah, it's also that we're now, this is again like another portion of what we're seeing the writers tell us, something that we
Hmm.
never saw. So now
Hmm.
we're hearing that like Joss and or not Joss, but Trina and Dex are close, that like Trina needs her friends and Dex is one of them. We have seen them hang together. I think that those two actors, Evan and Tabiana, have like a very great rapport. And so now that they're bringing that to the show to be like Dex and Trina are also friends.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I anyway, and then we had that scene with Joss and Anna. I did laugh at Joss a little bit when she was like, "Don't hand me that flag." I'm like, well, sweetie, you're
That
the
was
ex.
very young.
You're the ex. But I will say that I think that to your point about how we only focus on one thing, I think that what Jocelyn said to Anna that was more important
Hmm.
was that you're gonna invite his family and they're not gonna come. So like
Hmm.
this idea that I'm his ex, but I'm
Hmm.
still the most important person in his life. I'm still the person that's the closest to him. Is what I
Hmm.
think that point was, as opposed to
Right.
being like I'm like the wife that's gonna get the flag. It's more like nobody else is close enough to him to get it. Is what I
Or the
took.
fact that he doesn't like his family isn't around, and that you're putting like he's almost like a expendable person, an expendable cog in Anna's plan.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
she's letting Anna know that I'm the only one that actually cares about what's happening to him, and I'm not going to appreciate what you're doing.
Yeah. I mean, it's also really silly because
Hmm.
if we know that Sonny, or we think that Sonny had planned to have a Fed beat up,
Hmm.
what would it be to off decks?
Nothing, which was the point she was trying to make to Carly. At least she didn't really bring that home to Anna.
But Anna knows that.
Yeah.
Because that's why I was like, Jocelyn, you acting like your daddy snitching. But she was like, he had the Fed beat up Anna. What do you think? And Anna was like, do you have any proof? She's like, girl, no, I got no proof.
We don't need no proof. And weren't
But
they just talking about how Sonny can get away with a lot of his crimes? She
yeah,
had that conversation with Laura.
I mean, let's actually lump all of that together. Oh, so to bring it home on Jex, I actually like Jex. I think that they still have really great chemistry. Like the fact that Josh or that Trina was like, "What this? Y'all still look at each other with googly eyes."
Hmm.
Like
They still be flirting with each other.
they
That's
do.
what I like about Jax. I like his kind of flirty. And then also his ironic sense of humor.
Yeah.
Like I love it when, especially when he talked down to little boys.
Yeah, I like them as a couple. I do think that something that has been unfortunate for Jex is that they take the brunt of when writers change stories
Mm-hmm.
because or change direction because so much of their story is hinged upon Sonny and the mob. So
Mm-hmm.
like even when they were like, "Oh, Sonny's gonna be so upset if he finds out that y'all are together," then it was like Sonny didn't care. Like it's just
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they take like hits on as a couple, they take like these hits from the writing whenever the regime changes or whenever the storyline changes, like in a way that other couples don't.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that they survive off of like pure Kim and charisma. So
Yeah.
I like them. And I'm excited to see what happens with them. But let's talk about Anna, who okay, I love Anna Devane down. And this week I said, Anna, where we going? What we doing here? Baby girl, what's going on?
Help me out here. I'm not understanding.
Anna, what we doing? That was me every day. Anna, what's going on? Like this stuff with her and Laura, again, this is like one of those abrupt changes that are like, here we are. We're just everybody hates Sunny now, and like y'all gotta take it. There's no transition to it. It's just that's what it is.
Hmm.
It's like this idea that Anna and Sunny were only friends because of Robin or whatever. This is not true. Sunny is the person Anna called when she was fake dead. Like you were staying in his safe house with Valentine. Like it's just this pretending as if their friendship wasn't an actual friendship. Y'all were close.
Hmm.
That was your bestie for a minute.
Hmm. The only one you could talk to.
Yeah. And then, like to have all this stuff hinge on Cyrus, who has done monstrous things.
Right.
Like, I'm sorry, I remember the things that Cyrus has done from Trina and Portia to Sasha to, like Cyrus has been a monster. So now all of a sudden, we are just all so outraged that somebody would do that to Cyrus.
Hmm.
Okay. No,
I mean, I said, they're for some reason they're gonna make Anna hate Sunny or dislike Sunny because now she's the chief of police and they need that dynamic.
right.
But it does still seem flimsy, and
Very flimsy.
especially if using Cyrus and like I guess trying to make him a better person, a more sympathetic person, just so you can hate on Sunny. Even though what Sunny does is kind of horrific, yes. But I still think that it's kind of interesting that they choosing because what he did to Cyrus, who's not necessarily a sympathetic character, but then making him sympathetic just to be able to justify hating Sunny is interesting.
Especially because of the audience that we know that I mean, I guess we're supposed to assume that like some of that being out of control is a result of the medication
Right,
because Valentine like reflected back to who I still call Pikeman, but
right.
Brennan. Wait, no, yeah, John Brennan.
Yeah,
Jack Brennan, because they
Jack or
anyway,
John.
what
Jack,
it's
yeah.
Jack because they said his name 25,000 times. But it's like reflected back to Brennan that like, oh yeah, he's off his meds because like he beat up this man in this church.
Right.
So it just it was that, and then it was like the pressing on Molly was wild. It was nonsense. Here's what I will give to Finola. Finola is the kind of actress that always tries to find the truth in her scene.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was an unhinged request, and Finola was playing it kind of unhinged.
Right.
And it made me appreciate her even more as an actress. Like she
Yeah.
was just like, this is I can't justify this. Okay, so I guess I'm gonna be unhinged.
Yeah.
So you kind of saw Anna just be like, just do it.
You just look, I don't care if this is personally and we're not giving it to Robert. I'm gonna tell him to assign you, and you're gonna do it. Like
It's
for no
like
reason.
you're like, Robert would take too much pleasure, so I'm gonna
Yeah.
make his niece, who it took us way too long, way too many segments to get to the fact that Molly and Sonny are blood related.
Right.
Because it was like, well, he's my sister's dad, and she's no, that's your uncle.
Uncle, right.
You are blood related. You should not be the DA on this case, or the ADA on this case.
And that's not just because of Robert, but ethically. I mean, she did say that ethically she should recuse herself. She didn't say why, but she has all the reason to recuse herself from this case. And
She
for
would.
Anna, and for Anna to be like, "No, you're going to do it." What authority does Anna have to tell Molly that she has to take this case?
I was
I don't
like,
get
what are we
it.
saying?
I
Why
really
does the
don't get
police
it.
chief trump a judge? In what world would anybody be like, oh, yes, Molly shouldn't have even been the ADA on Jason's case?
Right.
Molly shouldn't have been the ADA on Trina's case. She certainly shouldn't be the ADA on Sonny's case, and I have no idea why Anna was like so persistent on it. Like I get it's
Hmm.
like the drama of the show, but like you didn't give me enough reason to like believe or to understand. It could have been like we know there's a mole in the ADA's office and we know it's not you, so therefore we need it to be you or something. But like what they did made no sense.
I'm
But
still tripping off the fact that again, the police commissioner gets to direct the district attorney's office. That don't make sense.
you said I watch enough Law and Order to know that's not true.
No, I know enough about local government to know that's not true.
True, true.
I I
Yes.
was like, there no, you have no authority, Anna.
That was so funny. I was like, what is going on?
Right.
Yeah, it was confusing, it was annoying, but Anna's my girl. I'm gonna stick beside her. But this was rough.
Very rough.
And so finally, our big story, other big story is Ava and Sonny. So Ava calls in Sonny's prescription into the lab. She finds out he's taking a very weak dose. She also kind of talks Nina into selling the Metro Court, even though she knows that Sonny's not gonna be happy about it. Um, I don't know what to think. Ava's keeping me on my toes, and Mora is a good enough actress, or is not good enough. That's an understatement.
Compelling.
She is
Yeah.
a compelling actress, and it's enough to keep me on my toes and keep me interested.
It's also slightly disappointing to me
Ooh,
because
tell me.
um yes, Mora is even more compelling when she has to take Ava through suffering and redemption. But I don't like it that it seems like she's not learning a lesson, right? That
Mm,
she didn't learn anything from what she had to deal with in the past. Because dealing with somebody's meds is the whole reason why Sunny and Carly hate her because of
hmm
what she did to Morgan.
Exactly.
And to be doing that to Sunny just seems really unbelievable and incomprehensible to me that Ava would not recognize the import of doing that exact same thing to the father of her child.
Right.
Not only because she should be scared about what Sunny and Carly and Jason will do to her once they find out what that she's done, but Sunny is the father of her child and she's allowing that to happen to someone who she loves. And again, her actions is going to have an effect on her child, something again that she said that she never wants to do again. And so for her
And
to be
oh,
doing
sorry.
this is like really crazy to me. So I don't
And
get
you're
it.
letting unstable Sunny be alone with your daughter. Unstable while y'all are under, like, while he has a target on his back, because
Hmm.
he reminded Lois again that part of the reason he didn't want to go to the wedding is because he had a target on his back. So I said, oh, there must be that's going to blow up at the Chilean wedding too. Hopefully the reception. And they let them get married. um but there's also like yeah, to your point, I think that there is something about her not saying anything. So it makes me believe that she's working with someone, um not knowing that the medication thing was happening, but whoever was sending her like threatening letters and like wanting her to get close to Sonny, was doing that, and she knew something was happening, but she didn't know what was happening. And so now she's seeing that it's the medication thing, and she's trying to like figure out, okay, what should I say about it? That's like my only real thought of what could be happening. But I don't know. That's just me giving Ava grace.
Yeah, we have to imagine some sort of grace here because I'm thinking I don't understand how she can be involved in something like this unless there's some serious threat to Avery, like they're going to do something and she's trying to prevent that. And she's just finding out exactly how they're going to bring Sunny down and she's trying to mitigate it in some way. We don't know what it is. I'm hoping it's not evil team because again, it's not, I don't think evil teen or Valentine right now, I don't think he would manipulate a child in this way or try to harm a child in this way. Because
No, no, no,
again, he's
no.
seen not, yeah, because again, he knows what manipulating or messing with children can do because he's experienced it. So again, I don't know who is behind this, but that person is truly evil.
Wait, who's behind the medication?
The
Oh,
medication, the whole
Valentine's behind
plot.
it.
Oh,
Oh,
I know, but
yeah.
why? You
Oh,
know,
right, right,
all of
right.
that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
There's
My ass-
something. Yeah, it's
my
crazy.
assumption is that Ava did not know about the meds before
Okay.
and was actually really surprised to find out.
Yeah. And the fact
Yeah,
that
right.
she's holding on to it.
Is because I don't, I wonder if she even know, this is all speculation by the way, y'all. But I do
Right.
wonder if she even knows that she's working with Valentine. Like
Mm.
in my wildest of speculations, I'm
Mhm.
thinking that that she is getting close to Sunny. They've made her do that. She's also like kind of also falling for Sunny in the
Mhm.
same time, in the same breath.
Mhm.
And she had no idea everything that they had been doing to him. So
Mhm.
now she's like, "Oh wait, they messing with his meds. What do I do about that?" That's kind of
Mhm.
how I feel. I don't feel like she knew that that was happening, and I feel like she kind of doesn't know what to do about it.
Mm. Do you think Valentine killed Austin? Because this all stemmed from Austin.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I guess so.
And why? Just like- and that's why I don't know if I should feel if Cyrus is actually turned over a new leaf.
Or if Cyrus is part of it.
Or if he's, yeah, because I still feel he was kind of part of it.
Because he did admit, and like that's the thing about Cyrus, he's really good at half truths. So he
Right.
did admit to Laura that, he was happy when Sonny was beating him up.
Oh yeah, it was all revenge because he felt like he won.
Yeah, and
And
he said
then
every punch got me closer to revenge, and I got his revenge got stronger.
right, but we still don't know quite how he's involved with Pikeman. We do know he's involved in some kind of way, but we don't know how, and we don't know to what degree he's involved. Like, could
Yeah.
he be the mastermind behind what's happening with Sunny? Could he, we don't know.
Mm,
That's why
mm,
he's so
mm,
compelling.
mm. Well, do you have any hot takes for the week before we hop into the Emmys? We don't have much to talk about with the Emmys, by the way.
I know. I did have a hot take about little Danny going up and seeing
Oh
his
yeah.
daddy's apartment and then he shrugged on it. I thought it was so cute. But one thing I thought was like that jacket could not have fit Jason.
I thought that too.
I was like, okay, it was appropriately loose on Danny, but not loose enough because Jason is super buff.
Hmm.
And he could have not have been able to get into that jacket. So I thought like that jacket don't fit Jason.
It's like Brotherhood of the Traveling Jacket.
Right. I also had a
Oh
hot
wait,
take
let's
of
go back and forth because I have a couple.
okay. Yeah,
Um,
okay.
so I had one of, I guess we're changing up the Finn Gregory backstory because originally the backstory was that Finn was in love with Jackie. So like he was
Mhm.
salty about what happened with his mom,
Mhm.
yes, but more so he was in love with Jackie, and that's
Right.
why he slept with her. not to like get a, which is why we had like the drama about whether or not he was Chase's brother or dad and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's just about Jackie and or about revenge about his mom. That felt weird and like a big switch up.
Wow. And then to your point on that story, I was writing about it's interesting how Gregory left out the fact that Finn's anger didn't just burn out. Finn acted out in anger and slept with his dad's wife. So it made me think, well, what does that mean for Jake? Is Jake going to act out on his anger or is he just going to let it fizzle out?
Mm, yeah,
And I don't know. I would like to see Jake more in the scenes.
me
I don't
too.
like how they keep talking about him and not we're not actually seeing him as much.
Yeah. Yeah, I love Hudson and I think he's very talented.
Right.
Um, to Gregory, bro, get a pill box. You talk about I take my meds sometimes and day to night and sometimes no, get a pill box. Morning, afternoon, night, every day. Fill that bad boy out. What are we talking about?
Very true. Oh, I also wrote, and we talked about this a little, but I wrote a lot about Maxie Zingers about Lucy. First of all, again, the show keeps talking about how Lucy and her gummies. Lucy is a weed head. And so Maxie, when she was on the ground, she's like, Lucy only sees the ground if she drops a gummy. And then another one, she said, Lucy may be breathing the same air as we are, but she's not one of us.
I loved it.
It was amazing. It was hilarious. I loved it.
Loved it so much. I had what is going on with Jordan and her taxes? What are we supposed to take away from that? Because like who cares? And also, Jordan looked disrespectfully beautiful in that red dress. Keep Brick away from her.
Well, I know you had some thoughts about what he said this week. And I'm like, I'm wondering how this actress feels about him as a person. Because maybe that's why they have little chemistry. It's like she's not feeling this man. Because I'm just like, oh, ah. Like, I can't even support. Like, I want to fast forward his scenes. I'm so pissed off at him.
I mean, first of all, Stephen A. Smith has always been a clown.
Right.
He will remain a clown, but I wish he would keep his clown behavior and his clown opinions to his clown self.
Mm.
But no. So not only as a person was I mad, but as a character, I was like, this is gross. Get him out of here. Even when him and Sonny were like talking, and he was like, "How are things going with Ava?" And he was like, "I like you." Sonny's like, "I like having a woman around." They start
I was
cackling.
like, ugh,
Yuck,
no.
yuck.
Right.
Do you have anything else?
No, that was it.
Oh, I had Dex, and that was a free '80s montage, free '80s music montage. Like somebody like where it was like uncopyrighted '80s music, and then they put it over his little running montage. Oh, poor thing.
It was really weird too.
It looked goofy. I was like, why is he running around this parking lot? But I guess shout out to him for being in the 95th percentile or whatever.
98th. Get it right.
Oh, look, there you go. There you
And
go.
not just for this recruit, for the whole history of
The
PCP.
whole history of policing. Gross. Even grosser.
Right.
Um, so Daytime Emmy nominations came out. Um, Obviously for like writing, directing, all of that stuff, show, all of the big soaps were nominated. GH was nominated for all of those things.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that what we always all look for is the acting nominations. And there have been a lot of snubs, in my opinion. So let's
Mm-hmm.
go through the nominations. Let's start with the big ones, which are Outstanding Lead Actress. We
Mm-hmm.
got Tamara Braun for her role on Days. We also know Tamara Braun because we loved her as Carly, we as in me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we got Finola, Anna Devane, Catherine Kelly from Bold and the Beautiful, Annika. from Bold and the Beautiful. I thought her name was Anika until I like saw somebody call like them talking about her on like some online thing, and I was like, I've been calling this woman Anika forever.
Me too.
It's Annika.
That's
I
not as
also
cute.
no, I also thought she was black until I
Oh,
saw her.
no.
And I was like, because her name is like I have a friend named Akosawa Noel,
Uh-huh.
and so when I saw Anika Noel, I was like, oh, black girl. No, Annika Noel is a white woman, but people love her. So,
Yeah, she's cool.
um, and then Michelle Stafford from Young and the Restless, and then Nina.
Cynthia.
I was gonna say Nina Watros. Woo, read. I cannot read today, y'all. I'm so sorry. Cynthia Watros from GH.
Hmm.
Um, really excited for all these actresses. Congratulations. I'm always gonna go for the home team, or most of the time I'm gonna go for the home team. So def congratulations to Finola and Cynthia. Um, I have no other thoughts. What
Yeah,
about
I
you?
have no. I mean, it's definitely Finola for me,
Oh,
simply because
100%. Yeah,
just because I can actually see the scene that I feel like she won for.
yeah,
Um, the rest of them, and I watched, except for Days of Our Lives, I've watched most of these other ladies, and yeah, they're great, but I don't think anything they've done this year compares to what Finola has. So
agreed.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I love Finola, obviously, standing her for
Mm-hmm.
decades now, by the
Right.
way. So we'll be rooting for her 100%. Also,
Mm-hmm.
obviously, love Tams.
Mm-hmm.
And I can think of, because I watch Days, so I can think of the stuff that she did on Days that she was nominated for.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't ever try to get into like this argument because I think that like what's good, what's better is also subjective. So
Mm-hmm.
I just go for who I like more, and I like Finola, and that's who I want to win. And I think in this instance, she's uber talented, and that's that on that. um,
Yeah.
we GH did not have any men in the outstanding lead actor, but obviously there's Eric Braeden, aka Victor Newman on YNR, Scott Clifton on Bold and the Beautiful. I don't know anything about Scott Clifton. I'm sure he's a beautiful person or not, but I still got beef from him with him as Dylan Quartermain. So, uh,
And folks have hella beef with his character. His character is the worst. And
right.
I don't know why, but maybe no.
I mean, he's good at doing it, but you know, Dylan Quartermain and me, it's always gonna be beef forever. Um, Thorsten K, on Bold and the Beautiful, I obviously know him as Zach from All My Children. Um, Eric, uh, Marstoff, Brady Black from Days, and John McCook, from Bold and the Beautiful. I watch Days. Eric is great. Um what is interesting to me, I watched his interview. If you haven't watched it, you should watch Michael Fairman because I watched a bunch of their interviews. Finola did one as well. And so Eric submitted a bunch of stuff with women who I thought also deserved to be nominated. And the one that I'm thinking the most of was not nominated for anything. So that kind of was disappointing to me. But it also just shows to me that the women, like the actress categories, are always stacked because daytime actresses be killing it. Like it's just daytime actresses are on a whole league of their own. So it's really hard for them to narrow down the nominations. Um, but yeah, you watch the other soaps. What are your feelings?
I think JPS was snubbed, and I also think like he actually tweeted that he felt like Charles Shaughnessy should have
Mm.
been nominated,
He said Charles and Nicholas
and
Chavez.
Nicholas Chavez. So,
Yeah.
but I also think JPS did some great work too.
Mm.
You know,
This is for lead. I bet you they would have all done probably submitted in supporting.
JPS,
I think so.
and then maybe Charles as a guest actor.
I think Charles probably would have been. supporting. I mean, I guess I never know.
Yeah.
Um, I guess I never know. Um, yeah, I never know. Either way, I
Mhm.
think he should have been nominated. Charles
Mhm.
Shaughnessy did. I mean, he was such
Mhm.
a delicious villain until he took that turn.
Mhm.
And even then, it was amazing.
Yeah.
So I would have loved to see him nominated. But good luck to those gentlemen. I guess if I'm going for anybody, it probably is Eric, because I watch Days.
Yeah.
But Thorsten's
Oh.
cool too.
Oh, I thought you meant Eric Braden, Victor Newman.
Victor Newman. The
Yeah.
fact that that man is such like an institution that like you don't even you've never had to watch Y&R one day in your life and you know Victor Newman.
Right. That would be it for me because I don't watch. Well, I think John McCook had some good storylines. I mean, he was playing a storyline of this guy who's just getting older and in
Mhm,
denial about his ability to continue working.
mhm.
Which I guess, yeah, it was pretty compelling. But
He recently won too, right?
hmm
He's been really consistent, so he must be good. I
yeah,
don't watch the show, but yeah, yeah,
yeah, I would just like to see Victor Newman win. I'm sure he's won before. I think,
I'm
has
sure.
he? Yeah, but I would like to see him
Well, I
win
don't know,
again
but I would
because he's
assume.
amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he
Good
could
for
be
him.
another Susan Lucci.
Oh Lord, I think we would
So,
know. I think we would
oh
know.
yeah, yeah,
Okay, I'll Google it. Um, Outstanding supporting actress. Also again snubbed. GH. There's Jennifer Garius. Sorry if I mispronounced it. From Bold and the Beautiful. Lindsay Godfrey from Days. Courtney Hope from Y&R. Allison Lanier from Y&R, and Emily O'Brien from Days. Um, Sophia Matson should be there. I don't know what I can't speak to anybody else's work. I would never say no, somebody should have been bumped. I would never say somebody didn't deserve it. I'm sure they're all very deserving. Sophia should be there, 100%.
oh, 100%. Makes me wonder if she submitted.
She had to
Um,
have submitted, and Finola mentioned in her
okay,
interview with Michael Fairman
okay.
that this was a snub.
Oh, for sure.
Hmm.
But of those who did get nominated, Courtney Hope did some phenomenal work.
Okay.
She lost her baby.
Hmm.
Allison Lanier also did some phenomenal work and coming in as the new Summer Newman.
Hmm.
Um, heavy shoes to fill, and she's filling them very well.
Okay.
So, it would be a tie between Courtney and Allison for me.
Hmm.
Mm,
I'm going for the Days girlies. Because I watch Days. It's not the home team. But if
right.
I think if I have to pick. So here's what I'll say about Emily O'Brien. What I
Mm-hmm.
find about her is that she played two roles. So I wouldn't have given it to her for Gwen, but like the idea that she's played these dual roles, like she literally walked out, she switched characters at an airport. So she
Oh,
walked onto one plane as one character and then walked off another the plane as another character. So
interesting.
she's extremely talented. I don't like Gwen, but I mean the actress is phenomenal. And then Lindsay I think is really good as well. So stacked category, like as we're both like just reading out that the work of these ladies, um stacked category, lots of talent, but I'll just say it again, Sophia Matson should be there.
Oh, for sure.
Hmm. Outstanding supporting actor nominees. Robert Gossing or Gossing, Gossett, Robert Gossing. Woo, thinking about Ryan Gossing. Anyway, please ignore me. Um, as Hat Daddy, aka Marshall Ashford from our very own GH. We got Brighton McClure from YNR, Wally Kurth, not for GH but for Days, as Justin Kiriakis, Mike Manning from the Bay, and A Martinez from the Bay. Now I've never watched the Bay, but congratulations and shout out to those guys for getting nominated. I think that's really cool. Um, Wally, I can say, has done really phenomenal work on Days. Last year, he had some really heavy emotional stuff. But I'm rocking with my Hat Daddy. What about you?
I'm walking with Hat Daddy. Also Brighton James, but
Yeah.
I just don't understand why.
Oh,
What scenes
okay.
he submitted? But he's, always consistent, always amazing, and always great.
Yeah.
I'm just not seeing what scene this year brought him this nomination. I'm not quite sure. Both of them could win.
Mhm.
I was gonna say both of them can get it, but that's
It's a little
a
different than what
little
we're talking
different than
about.
what we're talking about. So I was like, both of them can win, and I would be happy.
Yeah.
Also, for the same for Wally, just because he's amazing actor, and I actually felt he had some pretty good scenes when he forgot who he was and.
Nettie
And
Bane.
then Eddie and Nettie Main, yeah. So he's doing double duty. That's a
Yeah.
lot. So
Yeah,
go Wally.
I wonder if he chose which one to submit.
Mhm.
Just because he didn't want to submit twice for different shows.
Mhm.
And I would say, I think the stuff on Days was just really powerful. If shout out to
Yeah.
my Days watchers. If you watch Days, tell us in the chat. Because I
Mhm.
want to hear what you thought. I thought Wally was just great on Days.
Mhm.
He had like a situation where he found out, well, he fake found out because it's not true that his son
Mhm.
is not his son's at
Oh wow.
his grown son. And we've had him like kind of live in that,
Mm.
and also like step up as like this patriarch, since we lost Victor Kiriakis. So
Mm. And also shout out to Y&R fans. Let me know
mhm.
what you think too.
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
that we like spanned the like we watch it all, and when the Gates comes on, we're gonna be watching that too.
Right?
Um,
Well, no, we might want to.
I know. I was thinking
All
about that
right.
too. I was like thinking like if the Gates like we should podcast maybe not weekly, but maybe like
Right.
bi-weekly or monthly.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're definitely gonna do something to shout out the Gates, obviously.
Right.
Um, anyway, okay. Guest performer, we got Lyndon Ashby from YNR, Ashley Jones from B&B, Allie Mills, our very own Heather Weber from GH, Guy Pearce from The Neighbors. I don't watch that. It's even spelled with a U, so I definitely don't watch that. And Dick Van Dyke from Days. Um, Here's what I will say. I love Allie Mills. I think Allie Mills is extremely talented and extremely deserving. I mean, what an actress. Phenomenal every time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna have to deflect from the home team. Don't cancel me. I want it to be Dick Van Dyke.
Okay. I haven't seen Dick Van Dyke's performance,
Hmm.
but just as being an icon and just,
Hmm.
a great actor, I won't be mad. At the same
Yeah.
time, Lyndon Ashby, oh my God, that dude was scary as hell.
Okay.
Scary ASF. And when he was on that show, and definitely is deserving as kudos as well. And the same as Allie Mills. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't
Another
be
stack
mad.
category.
Another stacked category. So
Hmm.
kudos for being nominated, all of
Dick Van
them.
Dyke was just
Yes.
a delight. I actually tweeted about this.
Hmm.
Um, So you know what? Twitter, two things got me out my bag on Twitter. This or three. And you know I don't even tweet about soaps no more. So one was Dick Van Dyke.
Mm.
I just found him to be so delightful on days. His presence, it was just beautiful. His story, he was just truly legendary. Um, and I love Dick Van Dyke. I mean, as an actor, as a singer, as a dancer, like I
Hmm.
remember going to see the new Mary Poppins in theaters when it first came out, and it was like Christmas or day after Christmas or something like that. And when Dick Van Dyke showed up on screen, like the theater went nuts.
Hmm.
It was also me. I probably started it. Like it was like people were screaming and shouting and clapping because he came out and danced. And so on days he also did like a little dance with Susan and Bill Hayes. RIP to Bill.
Mm.
And so yeah, he was just a delight, and I would love for this icon to get his flowers. So that's where I stand on it. But obviously, Allie Mills, my girl, let's get it. Yeah. The other thing that I tweeted about this week, we sent, I put your name on it too, Tanya. We sent flowers to Brooke Kerr as like a big group. Um, and she posted the picture, and I said, "Why does Brooke look so stunning?"
Oh.
If you go look at her Twitter, like she looks amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It was
And she has a
nuts.
grown ass man as a son.
It's like, you know how people are like, oh, somebody looks so young or whatever.
Right.
Brooke just looks like a timeless goddess, like an
Mm-hmm.
ageless goddess. It's not that she looks young, it's that she looks ageless.
Ageless. Yes.
Like it was, and it
Yeah.
just really was like such a reminder that they have not done right with her right by her with story.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they better stop playing before the Gates snatches up that legend. Um, and give her something that's like worthy of her time. Because quit playing on Brooke's name.
So many great black actresses out there who I hope get snatched by the gates.
Yeah.
And let all these other soaps realize how they've taken for granted these really wonderful women.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, and
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. I do hope the Gates lights a fire under these other soaps to know,
Mm-hmm.
um, you know, you cannot take your black audience for granted. Um, and people are going to complain. I don't have any complaints about people complaining and
Mm-hmm.
raising their voices about wanting to see themselves on the show. We
Mm-hmm.
have been loyal viewers of this genre since it started. We
Mm-hmm.
deserve to be seen. We deserve to have substantial story. We deserve to be legacies in our story. I think it's one of the reasons, to be quite honest, that Y&R has been able to retain its audience. I know that people get mad about some of the writing, but there is a black family there, a core family. You don't
Mm-hmm.
have to watch that show to know the Winters. I
Mm-hmm.
don't watch that show and I know the Winters.
And they are cherished. They are like people like they are treated like just as important as the rest of the cast. And I think that goes to show why they are not only have such a strong audience, they are consistently number one.
Hmm.
And there's a reason for that.
Hmm.
Like just the other day, they honored Victor and Nikki's anniversary in the room that they've dedicated to Christophe St. John.
Yeah. Oh my God.
They keep talking about his character over and over and over. It's
Hmm.
almost as if he's not even gone as much as
Hmm.
they talk about him.
Yeah.
And so that kind of respect for, black family and black legacy characters is what keeps us as an audience.
100%.
100%. So,
100%.
yeah.
Hmm.
So, hope it's a
Yeah.
wake up call. Um, yeah.
Mm-mm. And I think that for me, it's one of the reasons when I talk about Trina, and I think that when we talk about Trina, we constantly bring up Taggart
Mhm.
because I don't like them taking pieces of her history away from her. Because
Mhm.
when you take pieces of her history away from her, it makes it easier to make her Keisha or make her Gia or make
Mhm.
her Maya Ward or all of these other black women who had story when they were on the show, but don't have
Mhm.
a legacy to show for it when they
Mhm.
leave the show. And
Right.
that I think is one of the things that we fight for with Trina, that she has that
Mhm.
it's not like you have to reinvent the wheel every single time. It's
Mhm.
that she is a part of a lineage. And so when she
Mhm.
was Taggart's bio daughter, and I still think now, regardless of who her biological family is, when she was Taggart's daughter and Taggart was present in her life, we had this at least this through line and this lineage for her. It's one
Mhm.
of the reasons that we talk about Jordan not having a last name or a maiden name.
Mhm.
We don't
Right.
know who she was before this. That Portia, like we wanted Zeke, one, because he had a lot of chemistry with Jordan and we wanted to explore that romance, but we also wanted Portia to have family. It's not
Mhm.
enough to just be like, here are some black people, enjoy it. We want to see our people rooted in the show.
Mhm.
So
Exactly.
that's our preaching for today.
I want one more final comment on the
Please.
Emmys. Shout out to African Queens.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
my God, like if you look at all the other award categories, they're listed almost every single time. And I was like, they are going to sweep. I hope they sweep. I hope
Hmm.
they're not just getting these, like we see you nods and then keep it moving. No, they need to
Right.
sweep because as much as I've seen them on almost every other category, it's like crazy. So shout out to
Give them their
African Queens.
things.
Give them their flowers
Hmm.
and their statues.
There we go.
Right.
Period.
Period.
Um, Next week, let's talk about it.
Ooh, Monday's
Uh,
gonna be on.
I'm ready. So when we first started recording, we were like, damn, we wish that like Monday we could have recorded Monday night because that way we could have seen Monday first.
Right.
So we got Sonny and Carly have it out.
Hmm.
Nina makes a discovery. Shout out to our Instagram and shout out to Rachel, who is like keeper of a lot of GH knowledge. She does a lot of like clips and stuff for us. And so thank you so much, Rachel. We love you. If you go to our Instagram right now, you'll see the preview for next week, which is a scene with Nina and Ava. So anyway, Nina makes a discovery. Sam tells Jason to stay away from Danny. Drew and Willow reconnect. That sounds weird. What? Um, okay.
Like, wait a minute. When were they not connected, and how are they getting more connected?
Huh. Okay. Lois impresses Maxie with her deception knowledge. Tuesday, BOQ's bridal shower is in full swing. Tracy lets her guard down. Chase also gets the bachelor party treatment at the hatchet range. A surprise guest shows up at Chase's party. Joss and Christina go toe to toe over Sonny. Wednesday, Chase and Finn find Gregory in a medical situation. Sam is worried about Danny. Okay, we're getting a little bit more Sam this week. Joss opens up to Jason. Drew and Jordan enjoy each other's company.
Round chicka round round.
If you can't see, I was raising my eyebrow, and my eyebrows need to be arched. Don't judge me. And Dex has some doubts about joining the PCPD. Do you,
He
Dex?
should be scared out of his mind.
I also
Already.
have some doubts.
I have doubts for you.
um, Thursday, Jason confronts Sonny. Ooh, so he'll talk to Jocelyn and then he'll confront Sonny. Mm.
Ooh.
TJ is concerned about Christina's actions. TJ, get it together. Drew and Carly share a bittersweet moment. Shout out to my crew. Christina is worried about Sonny. Trina helps Laura with Ace. Mm.
Okay.
Um, Laura, Friday. Laura tells Sonny she cannot forgive him. Do Laura know that Cyrus put Lulu in that coma?
Right? I think she forgot.
Girl. Um, Nina shares her concerns with Carly.
What? Oh, probably it's about she may be recognizing that Sonny might be not on his meds. I don't know.
I do
Or it's
not
about Ava.
I do not
Yeah,
want to see Nina and Carly
getting along
gang up to support Sunny. Ugh,
against Ava. That's ridiculous.
would hate it.
Yeah.
Um, Finn and Gregory have a disagreement. Molly asks Alexis for help. Sasha receives a surprising proposition.
Home and Heart's gonna try to hire her.
Ah, God. But she'll do it like in a mask so nobody sees her face and it won't be about her looks. Okay, Sasha. Anyway, um
Well, I
anyway.
think it wasn't Home and Heart that criticized her looks. It was that random photographer who's
Right,
like,
but she
she's
said
not severe enough or whatever.
right, but she's been saying that she doesn't want any job that's about her looks.
Oh,
Yeah.
she'll be rolling in overalls every week.
Well, if you made it to the end, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for listening.
Yay!
Make sure you like, subscribe, share, tell your friends about it. Tell your friends, tell a friend. Um, and we will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.